Good evening, all of you. Welcome to Siritech online training. Previous class we discussed the concepts of programming language and translators. Now we will see some of the important characteristics of C programming language. So coming to this C programming language, it was developed by Dennis Ritchie and team. It was developed by Dennis Ritchie and team. Where it was developed means it was developed at AT&T Bell Labs, American Telephone and Telegraph. So AT&T Bell Labs, USA, and this language was released in 1972. Of course, this programming language, C language, it was standardized by ANSI in 1989. So previously I told you C is not the first programming language. Before C there are many programming languages available. But still people, why they went for a new programming language called C? So the main reason of developing C programming language, it was developed to rewrite Unix operating system from assembly language. So Bell Labs is one of the most popular organization, and this organization, it has built three powerful softwares for the computer world. Of course, the first one is C programming language. The second one, the most powerful language than C, C++. And the third one, it is Unix operating system. Unix operating system, actually they have built using assembly language, a low level programming language, assembly language. So they want to rewrite the operating system into a high level language. Why and what is the reason? Why and what is the reason means, assembly language, yeah, definitely it's a very powerful programming language, no doubt about that. But there are some problems with assembly language. One is it is a low level programming language, means machine dependence is there. The second thing is, assembly language, writing a program means it uses plenty of lines of code. Plenty of lines of code it will use. Just a small example I will tell. Suppose if you have worked with C programming, we have a very common function called CLR/SCR, clear screen. So it will clear the screen, it will clear the contents on the screen and places the cursor at the top left hand corner, start of the screen there. This CLR/SCR implementation, if we want to write in assembly language, the code will be something like this. Move BH, 07, move CX, 0000H, move DX, 184FH, interrupt 10H. This is what they will use. This is what the code they will use just to clear the screen. These many lines of code they are using. Okay, what is the meaning of it? Just ignore, no problem. But a single line CLR/SCR, the same logic if you want to write in assembly language, this is what the code you have to write. For a simple task you are writing these many statements, just assume an operating system. Operating system, it's a collection of hundreds of programs. Such an operating system they have built in assembly language means, just assume the size of that software. Millions of lines of code it will be. And not only that, as the size of the software increases, it will take more booting time. Booting time means what? Like for example, whenever I switch on my mobile, whenever I switch on my computer, you can see several screens are displaying, and finally we can see the desktop there, and that process is called booting. Actually, the operating system, one of the most important software, the supervisor of the computer, operating system, actually it is stored, any software or any program or any file, it is stored in hard disk only. But once we switch on the computer, this operating system from hard disk, it is loaded into the computer's memory, that is RAM. Main memory, primary memory we call it. So memory or RAM, it is the working area of a computer. Any task in the computer is done inside this RAM. So because the size of operating system is very large, it will take more time for booting. Of course, Unix is a very powerful operating system, but Unix in assembly language, the problem they faced is so a lot of booting time it will be, and it will occupy more memory space. That's what the problem they face. So that's why they want to rewrite this assembly language into some powerful language there. There they started building a new programming language. At that time there are some programming languages available called B. B was also developed by Bell Labs people. There is a language called BCPL. Some of the important characteristics of these programming languages they have collected and they have introduced into the new programming language. And that programming language they named it C language. They named it C. So C programming language, the concepts of C programming language are derived from B, BCPL and some programming languages. So this is one of the main reason why they went for a new programming language called C. And why it was named C? Is there any reason? Actually, there is no such reason there. Initially, Bell Labs people they developed a programming language named APL, a programming language. Later, they built one more programming language called B. Maybe as a continuation, they might have named it C language. No specific reason there why it was named C like that. And some people say because C, we'll pronounce it as C, so it's a like what we can say large collection of resources where we can create efficient programs. So many reasons are there why they developed the language called C. Okay. Now let's see some of the important features of C programming language. Some of the important features of C programming language. Let's see here. The first one, it is like C is a high level language. We already discussed it. It's a high level language, means machine independence. The program created on one processor, we can copy and run on any processor. So it's a high level programming language. Of course, because C has the characteristics of both low level and high level programming language, some people also call it a middle level language. But generally high level means machine independence, so we call it a high level programming language. The next important thing about C is a general purpose programming language. As we said, general purpose programming language, it can be used to solve any type of problem. Mathematical, business, scientific, any type of problem we can build using this programming language. As we said, Unix operating system, Indian railway system, initially it was built on C language. Most of the softwares we are seeing today like Java, Python, maybe Windows OS, some basic libraries of these softwares, they are built using C programming language. They are built using C programming language. Very powerful language there. The next important feature of C language, C is a compiled language, means C language uses compiler as the translator. C programming language, it uses compiler as the translator, so we call it a compiled language. The next thing about C language is C is a procedural language or procedure oriented programming language. C is a procedural language or procedure oriented programming language. Why? Because procedural language means programs in these languages, they are created as a collection of procedures. And those procedures we call them functions in C language. Functions in C language, the heart of C programming language, it is functions. So C programming language, it was developed based on the concept of functions. So that's why we call it a functional language, procedural language, or procedure oriented programming language, or structured language, because this functions concept. So that's one more property of C programming language. Next one, like C supports modularity. So one of the characteristics of a good programming language, how we can say some programming language is a good programming language. One of the important characteristics of a good programming language is it supports modularity. What is this modularity? Now see here. Suppose I want to solve a problem. If the problem is small, I can solve it at a time. If it is a small problem, at a time I can solve. But as the size of the problem increases, as the complexity, difficulty of the problem increases, it will be difficult to solve it at a time. So that's why what we will do, we will break that program into smaller components, just like this. We'll break that program into smaller components, and each component we will solve them one by one individually. We'll break that program into smaller components, and these components we will solve them individually like this. And those components we call them modules. Those components we call them modules here like this. Modularity. So breaking a complex problem into smaller pieces or smaller components, we call it modularity. And those pieces we call them modules here. Those pieces we call them modules. So coming to C programming language, a C program is divided into modules. They are called functions. Functions are modules in C programming language. Functions are modules in C programming language like this. Modularity, one important concept of C programming language, like this we can say. So it's a versatile language. You can use it to build scientific applications, business applications, desktop applications, any type of application we can build with the C language. So these are some of the important characteristics of C programming language, we can say like this. Now let's see how to work with the C programming language. Suppose I want to learn a language like English. I want to learn a language like English. How we will start? First we will try to understand what are the various alphabets supported by English. Capital letters, small letters, different alphabets, whatever they are available, we will start them. By combining the alphabets, we will frame words. A for apple, B for boy, C for cat, like that. Collection of words will form sentences. At the time of creating a sentence, how to create a sentence grammatically and how to create a sentence meaningfully, we will understand. Every sentence must follow proper grammar and it must provide proper meaning also. And a collection of sentences will become a paragraph. Collection of paragraph will become some text or document or essay, whatever it is, like that. But here I want to learn a programming language like C. I want to learn a programming language like C. Before learning any programming language, first we need to understand what are the various characters supported by that language. Character set. In your keyboard you have several characters available. Alphabets, digits, special symbols, several characters available. So what are the various characters I can use in my program? What are the various characters I can use in my program? First I have to understand it. The character set. After that, we need to know what are the various tokens supported by C programming language. What is a token? I will tell. Collection of a token will form a program statement. Statement or instruction or command, whatever it is, the meaning is same. Statement or command or instruction, the meaning is same. While creating a statement, how to create the statement syntactically and how to create the statement semantically, we need to know. The technical term for grammar, we call it syntax. The technical term for meaning is semantics. Syntax means grammar, semantics means meaning. So collection of instructions given to a computer to solve a problem, we call it a program. Collection of instructions given to a computer to solve a problem, we call it a program. Like that we used to say. So programming language, any programming language, almost this is the way. Of course, here we are calling paragraphs. In C language we call them functions, because a program is divided into smaller pieces called functions. Just now I said modularity functions. So this is how we will be learning the C programming language here. So first of all, let's see the C character set. Let's start our C programming concepts with what are the various characters supported by C programming language. The old generation language like C, C++, Pascal, COBOL, these type of programming languages, they support a character set called ASCII character set. ASCII character set, which stands for American Standard Code for Information Interchange. American Standard Code for Information Interchange. So here in this character set, they have provided totally 256 characters. Totally they have given 256 characters, where each character it is assigned a unique value. Each character it is assigned a unique value. We call it an ASCII value. Each character is assigned a unique value. We call it ASCII value. Like how students in a classroom are identified with the roll numbers, like that every character is assigned a unique value called ASCII value. So how these ASCII values are given? Now let's see here. When you take capital letters, uppercase alphabets, the ASCII value of A it is 65. The ASCII value of B 66. Like that the ASCII value of Z 90. Uppercase letters, the ASCII values are from 65 to 90. When you take lowercase letters like small a, it is assigned the value 97. No need to remember these values. No need to remember these values. And small z, when we take the ASCII value 122. Similarly, digits, the ASCII value of 0 48, the ASCII value of 1 49, and so on. The ASCII value of 9 it is 57. Like that, full stop, comma, semicolon, colon, every character it is assigned a value called ASCII value, like this. But earlier we said a computer cannot understand anything except zeros and ones. It can understand only 0 and 1. Then how it will identify the capital letters? How it is identifying the lowercase letters or the symbols like at the rate, comma, full stop, question mark, like that. Just what happens internally, I will tell you. See here. What happens internally, I will show you. See here. Suppose I typed the letter called A, small a. The ASCII value of small a, what is that? It is 97. Right? It is 97. So it is a decimal value. But a computer can understand binary value only. Binary value only. So what it will do? It converts this 97 into its equivalent zeros and ones. 97 converted into its equivalent zeros and ones. Like how it is converted, now see here. Just simple. Go on dividing 97 with 2. First divide 97 with 2. 2 48s, 96, remainder 1. Okay, remainder 1. Again divide this 48 with 2. Again divide this 48 with 2. 2 24s, remainder 0. Again divide 24 with 0. So what happens? 2 12s. 2 12s, 0. Again divide the value with 2. So what happens? 2 6 0. 2 6 are 0. The remainder is 0. 2 6 12. The remainder is 0. Divide the value with 2. So what happens? 2 3s 0. Again divide value with 2. 2 1s 2, and the remainder will be 1. 2 1s are 2 and the remainder is 1. So I can't go further. That's all. Okay, you cannot divide 1 with 2, right? So now what happens? Just collect the bits from bottom to top. Bottom to top. So what are they? Like 1 1 0 0 0 0 1. Okay, now 1 1 0 0 0 0 1. So this is what we'll get. Means when I type letter A, small a, internally it is converted like this: 0 0 0 1. Just add a 0 before that. Okay, just add 0 before that. Means what happens here is, like this each character we type, like this what happens here is, each character we type, it is represented as 8 bits. Each character we type is represented as 8 bits, or even we call it 1 byte. Each character we type, it is represented as 8 bits, or we call it 1 byte, or some people also call it 1 octet. Why? Because when you take old generation programmers, according to them 1 byte means 7 bits. Because before C programming language, they might be using something like, before C programming language, they might be using something called EBCDIC, a character set. Before C programming, they will be using. So for them, 1 bit means 7 bits. 1 byte means 7 bits. But now we are calling 8 bits as 1 byte. So to avoid that confusion, we can write like this: 1 byte or 1 octet we can call it. To avoid that confusion, we can call it 1 octet like this. Just a simple terminology. See here. What are these bits and bytes? Just see here. 1 bit means binary digit. A 0 or 1, we call it 1 bit. Collection of 8 bits, we call it 1 byte, or even we call it 1 octet. When you take collection of 1024 bytes, we call it 1 KB, 1 kilobyte here. Kilo means 1000. 1024 KB, we call it 1 megabyte. Mega means 1 million. 1024 megabyte, we call it 1 gigabyte. GB we call it. Giga means billion, 100 crores. 1024 GB, it is 1 terabyte, means a trillion, 1 lakh crores. Then 1024 TB is 1 petabyte. 1024 petabyte, 1 exabyte. Then zotabyte, zettabyte. Then we have yottabyte, and even maybe now you can have many things there. 1024 etabyte, it will be 1 brontobyte they call it. So like that, the data they represent like that. Kilobytes, megabytes, something like it. Similarly, collection of 16 bits, that is 2 bytes, we call it 1 word. And collection of 32 bits, or even 4 bytes, or 2 words, we call it a double word. Collection of 64 bits, we call it 1 quadra word. And 4 bits, that is half of a byte, we call it a nibble. And not only that, generally speed is calculated in hertz, storage measured in bytes, bandwidth, so network capacity in BPS, bits per second. And not only that, one more thing you have to remember is MB and this MB both are different. Capital M, capital B, it means megabyte, 1 million bytes. Capital M, small b, it means megabit. Megabit means million bits, 1 million bits. This is 1 million bytes, and this is 1 million bits. So like that, the data is represented in computers. Like this. In ASCII character set, what happens is, every character we type, it is represented as 8 bits, or even we call it 1 byte. 8 bits, or even we call it 1 byte like this. So this is the first step of learning the programming language called C. What is the character set supported by C programming language? What is the character set supported by C programming language? Just we can discuss like this. So that's all about the current session. In our next session we will see what are the various tokens supported by C programming language. What exactly is a token and what are the various tokens supported by C programming language, we'll see in our next session. So I hope you enjoyed the concepts. So we'll continue in our next topic. Okay, thank you all.